Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric. I got a brand new and fun series for this fall and winter. It's going to be a one-off. I'm not going to keep doing Saturday videos unless I want to, but it is Saturday morning cartoon, celebrating some of the best licensed games based on my favorite Saturday morning cartoon properties. Because if you're not as old as I am, you probably don't realize that Saturday morning cartoons were a thing, but back in the day, you lived for Saturdays. And if we're going to start a series on licensed cartoon games, we got to start it off with Ducktales. It is probably the best licensed game based on a cartoon of all time, in my opinion. Before I get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, hit like and subscribe and hit notification bell. If you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well, because Uncle Scrooge has extra coins and maybe he'll give them to me. But honestly, this is a perfect game. It was remastered for modern systems, and that's an awesome version of it. But if you've never played the original DuckTales on the NES, you 100% owe it to yourself to do so. This is probably one of Capcom's best games of the era, and it's one of the best games on the NES that was not made specifically by Nintendo. And why I love it so much outside of the fact that DuckTales is an incredible cartoon and part of my childhood is this game just has everything you'd want. Starting off, the movement mechanics are just spectacular. Uncle Scrooge's pogo jump here just makes traversing the game world feel so fluid and so unique, and I had never seen anything like it before. Now granted, when this game came out I was like 6, so I hadn't seen much of anything before, but I knew this game was special when I was a kid, and it wasn't just down to the fact that I loved DuckTales. But this game has a very Metroidvania feel to it long before that would even be coined as a term, because you'll see here I needed to spend some money to get a platform to move up. You have to get a certain amount of diamonds or gems within the world to be able to increase that value, and some levels you can't even play until you find items in other worlds. It blocks you at certain points from progressing until you figure out the proper way to traverse the world, and I absolutely love that. It's a 2D side-scrolling action game, but it has those Metroidvania elements in it. And like I said, that pogo jump with the boss here just feels so fun and unique. This game, in my opinion, is as good as when it first came out. And I'm playing this on MiSTer FPGA, but I do own an original cartridge for this on my Nintendo Entertainment System as well. This game has an amazing soundtrack as well that I'll let you listen to shortly, but you'll see here we were told that Huey, Dewey, and Louie are trapped somewhere in the mansion, so right at the top of every level it gives you some sort of inciting incident to understand what you need to be doing, and the game has so many different pathways, it is not linear, and we killed one of the Beagle Boys right there, and he's going to thank Uncle Scrooge and tell him that the house has an illusion wall. You're going to get hints in this game as to what to do, and they are good hints too. This isn't like Castlevania 2 where you have no idea what's going on. But you'll see here I was able to get an invincibility power up by jumping with that pogo jump at a certain place, and that makes going through this area that much easier. You constantly have to be searching the entire world in DuckTales. Don't think an empty corner is an empty corner, it could be anything. Like right here, with the pogo jump, we're able to get into this little recess in the wall and find a hidden treasure that will increase our total hit points by 1. And that's what I love about this game so much, the sense of exploration. Jumping in a minecart and having to use those jump physics to get out at the right time is so fluid and incredible. There's nothing about this game that I could possibly strike. The gameplay is amazing, it controls so well, the soundtrack is so good, and of course it's based on DuckTales, one of the best animated cartoons of all time in my opinion. But I said this game has a spectacular soundtrack, and I'll let you listen to it a few different times, but honestly the Moon theme might be one of the best 8-bit soundtrack tracks of all time. The musicians at Capcom absolutely 100% killed it with this, and this song reminds me of being a kid. So go ahead and listen to it. I'll be back for like 45 seconds and sing the praises a little bit. perfection, and the moon level is amazing as well. And that's the fun thing about Ducktales. There's not a bad level. You'll see here traversing around, we were able to get to one end of the ship, and what are we going to find in here but a key to the UFO. You're constantly going to have to traverse the levels and build a mental map as to where things may be before you're able to progress in the game, and I love that sense of not being super linear. But it's also a very challenging game, especially when you're hunting down secrets. You have to get every single pogo jump perfect here. Now, pogo jumping isn't hard, and you'll see we got a hidden treasure, but you need to be really extremely good on your timing and make sure that you hit each individual spike at the right moment in time or else you will die. And that's what I love in this game, the sense of risk versus reward. It's constantly showing you something that you don't need to technically go to, but if you do, you're going to have a better time. And it's definitely puzzle based as well. Some rooms seem like you are stuck in them, and you need to figure out how to get out using that pogo jump and Uncle Scrooge's pogo hit. It's just so much fun to kind of explore and see, oh, that's what I do. I have to hit that one on the bottom. Because every other statue you hit on the bottom just causes him to shake around because it hurt his hand. But it's just a beautiful game to look at as well. Obviously the NES is quite old, and this game came out in 1989 when George Bush Sr. was still president. That's how old it is. But the art on display here is excellent for the NES. It's got good colors for the palette that it allows. The sprites really do look like the characters from the game, and again, the traversal is just so much fun. Having to jump down here and make that pogo jump perfectly and hold it the entire time just to jump over to this one little area is such a great feeling, and that's what I keep coming back to in a game like Ducktales. It's so much fun just to control Uncle Scrooge, and he's a great character. And you'll see here, we entered into a mirror, and we ended up getting back to where we were before, so we're not quite sure exactly where we're going yet. Well, I do know I played this game a ton, but maybe you don't. But moving on to the Himalayas, you'll see suddenly we encounter an area in which the pogo jump doesn't work. You get stuck in the snow. The game's constantly changing up its mechanics to give you something a little bit different to do, and it's always messing around with your expectations so you don't get too comfortable playing the game. And that's such a great design philosophy to make you continue to learn and update your techniques throughout the game to make sure that you're doing something new in each individual level. And you'll see here again, just some of the jumps need to be perfect, but I mentioned I'd give you a second taste of the soundtrack because it is a 11 out of 10, so go ahead and enjoy for like 20 seconds. I'll come back and talk more about Ducktales. Here we go. I could just listen to that soundtrack all day long, but why is this game so incredibly good? Well, one, it came from Capcom, but two, it used a lot of the same personnel from the Mega Man franchise, and that's why this game is so much fun to play, because Mega Man was such a great experience with tight controls and amazing action. It is no surprise that this translates over perfectly, because obviously Capcom was extremely good at making these type of platformers, and when they got the license to make Disney games, it worked for them. But you'll see here that we need to get a key, and it is in Transylvania if we want to go into the mines, and it'll bring us right back to Transylvania again. And that's just such a fun and unique thing, and something you didn't see that much on the NES. The fact that you had to go back and forth between levels to get collectibles to be able to go into a certain area. It definitely extends the length of the game, but not unfairly so. It doesn't feel like it's padding. It feels like it's a unique system in place to make sure that you've explored each area independently. And you find Miss Beakley here, she's just going to keep throwing ice creams out at you so you can refill your life. And obviously we have Launchpad as well. In the game, he'll fly you back to Duckburg if you want to get out of a certain area. But again, the platforming is just epic. I love it so much. If you make a mistake like I do right here, it is your fault. You didn't read the situation. You need to constantly be thinking on your feet and understanding what's going on around you and how to progress. And like I said, I played this on MiSTer FPGA, basically zero lag, and it is perfect on that system. But if you have an original NES, that's a good way to play as well. But I do like that Huey, Dewey, and Louie are in this mine cart here, and we're going to Yoshi them very shortly. I've always wondered what's going on with this right here, but we got to jump out. Where do the kids go? It seems kind of evil in its own right, but it's just a small observation. But when I wanted to do a series on cartoon licensed games based on Saturday morning cartoons, Ducktales is obviously the first thing that hit the list because it is just an epic game. I love this, it's a part of my childhood, but there was a sequel to this game which is quite good as well. But this isn't the only Capcom developed Disney game that's going to appear on this series, so leave me a comment down below and give me your guess as to what you think the second one's going to be in like 3 or 4 weeks. But short of that, somehow if you've never played Ducktales, you're 100% missing out. Go do it now. Bye bye.